Welcome to A Journey with Food, Body, and Life podcast, a show for self led women who are ready to step into their own transformation with food and body. I am Haneen, a certified eating psychology coach and a mom of two. I believe it's time for a deeper approach to our nutritional health, one that not only helps us heal with food and body, but also heal with our life. Join me each week for guidance on your journey so that together we'll find your way back to fully loving yourself. If you are tired of the mainstream approaches and you want to go deeper to heal with the root causes of your challenges like emotional eating, binge eating, body image issues, and you're ready to live in peace and freedom, then this is the perfect show for you. Hi there, and welcome to episode 4 of A Journey with Food, Body, and Life podcast. In today's episode, we will be discussing how healing with food and body can actually help us heal with our emotions, unmet needs, and traumas. In fact, anything that comes up in our relationship with food and body, it will be a sign for us to tune into our emotions, unmet needs, and question if we are undergoing a trauma response, especially for those of us who were or still are struggling with a trauma. All right, let's dive in. Before we get started, I just want to mention that I'm not a trauma-informed therapist and that I always recommend if you have experienced trauma or are facing any mental health issues, please do seek the support of a qualified mental health professional, such as a therapist or a counselor, to guide you along your trauma healing journey. Okay, so here's the thing. There is a link between our emotions, traumas we have lived, and our unmet needs, and how they can turn into eating coping mechanisms, such as emotional eating and sometimes binge eating as well. But unfortunately, this is not talked about much or enough in the health and wellness space. The advice we hear from professionals is to fight the urges or the coping mechanisms. So it's either to silence our cravings or to muster enough willpower to eat clean and stick to a diet plan or to diet rules. Of course, all of this is not helpful, and here's why. Firstly, when it comes to emotional eating, it's important to understand that this eating challenge is actually a type of a coping mechanism where we use food to deal with our emotional state. This can happen regardless of the type of emotion we are experiencing. So, for example, you might be emotionally eating when you are happy or excited. So let's say you are excited about signing in a new client. You feel the emotional rush of excitement and happiness, and you just can't wait to start with her. So you don't know how to deal with these emotions. So you go seek food to release what you are going through. On the other hand, you might experience emotional eating when you are feeling sad, stressed, maybe feeling lonely, anxious, or any other emotional state that you might find challenging to deal with. What happens is, because we don't know how to effectively deal with these emotions, we seek food to either numb what we're feeling, or maybe distract ourselves or escape the emotions, or we want to escape our reality or release what we are experiencing. Emotional eating can actually lead to overeating or eating foods that do not necessarily support us when we consume them in large quantities. And over time, this eating challenge can spiral to further eating challenges, such as weight gain, digestive issues, and feelings of guilt and shame around food. Another reason why people may turn to emotional eating is because of unmet needs. These unmet needs can be related to our physical or emotional well being. So, for example, if we are not getting enough sleep, our bodies may crave sugary or high fat foods to give us a quick energy boost. Similarly, if we are not meeting our emotional needs, such as feeling seen and heard, feeling loved by others, or feeling accepted for who we also may turn to food for comfort. Now, the third reason is seeking food because of unresolved traumas. Trauma can come in many forms and can result from various experiences, such as physical or emotional abuse, for example, loss of a loved one, or even a difficult breakup, or going through a difficult period of time. Trauma can create a void within us that we try to fill with food, leading to emotional eating. So, can you see how seeking food in these three cases is not really about food or jumping on a new diet plan or lifestyle? If you do, you are not working to heal with the root cause of this eating challenge from the first place? So, you still didn't learn how to deal with your emotions away from food, your needs are still not being met and validated, and your traumas are still living in you and not resolved. For that reason, we do not seek superficial approaches to manage our emotional eating or any other eating challenge, but use these challenges as a sign that right now I am feeling something and my inner self is grabbing my attention by igniting a food craving or by igniting this eating challenge. Such a huge realization. So, to further explain this, here are some examples of my work with my clients and how we used their food and eating challenges to heal with their emotions, unmet needs, and to elevate the quality of their lives. So, with one client, she was experiencing intense cravings in the afternoon when she came back home from work. She tried countless diets to stop this pattern. She believed there was something wrong with her and with her willpower. But as she unpacked this eating challenge, it turned out that this emotional eating experience was a sign from her body to rest. So, after a long day of work, her body needed rest and comfort. So, we used this eating challenge to meet her body's physical need for rest. We started shifting her coping mechanism from reaching out for food whenever she feels tired or exhausted to taking a short afternoon nap, reading, meditating, or doing a wind down activity. With that being said, using her afternoon emotional eating experiences, she learned how to honor her body and meet her need for rest. With another client, she was seeking food almost every time she was feeling stressed, angry, or sad. We started identifying when this emotional eating urge or episode was happening. We worked on identifying the emotions and then learned how to sit with what she was experiencing and heal with these emotions away from food. We also tapped into different ways she can use to release or neutralize what she is going through away from food. So, in her case, her inner self was grabbing her attention to her ignored emotions via the emotional eating urges. The end result with this client was learning how to be in touch with her emotional state, learning how to manage it, and at the same time, she also learned how to heal with her emotional eating challenge without dieting, without restriction, or without feeling guilty and shameful. Can you see how when we tune into healing with our emotional eating, we are not just healing with emotional eating, but we are actually healing with our emotions, unmet needs, and traumas. These are just two examples of countless other ways we can use our eating challenges or experiences to tap into and heal with our emotional state and what is going on inside of us. So, here is one way we can use these eating challenges to heal with our emotions, unmet needs, and resolve traumas. First of all, we identify the triggers that lead us to emotional eating. This may involve keeping a food diary or track our eating patterns and the emotions we are feeling. Now, it's very important to know that with this technique, we are not tracking the macros or the calories you ate today or how you self sabotaged or ate some bad food or whatever. No. This is not the aim of this exercise, and in fact, this might be triggering to your eating challenges and your unhealthy relationship with food and body. What we're doing is we are tracking when this is happening so that we can be in touch with ourselves when it is happening again, and therefore we can work on it. We are simply bringing awareness to when this is happening because in eating psychology, we believe that we can't change what we aren't aware of. So if I'm not aware that right now I am experiencing an emotional eating urge because I'm feeling this or that, how can I actually change the whole experience? So that's why we track when we are experiencing these emotional eating urges or cravings or episodes or even binge eating or overeating so that we can manage them and deal with them consciously. Once we have identified our triggers, now we can find alternative ways to deal with these emotions. For example, if we feel lonely, let's say, we can reach out to a friend or a family member, or if we are feeling stressed, we can practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing or meditation. So, as I mentioned before, the outcome would be yes, healing with our emotional eating and binge eating or any other eating challenge, but at the same time, we are learning how to manage and deal and heal with our emotions, unmet needs, and traumas. We are expanding our toolkit of healing and we are using supportive coping mechanisms that will help us heal and at the same time build more supportive and healthier eating habits and eating experiences. Lastly, it's important to remember that using food to cope, such as emotional eating, is very common and it's nothing to be ashamed of. However, if you feel that these eating patterns are impacting your physical or emotional well being, it may be helpful to seek support from a professional who can help you develop healthier and more supportive coping mechanisms. All right, that's it for today. I hope you found this helpful. I wish you a blessed journey with your food and body. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.